10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've been in the industry quite a long time, coming up 48 years, and I've met literally thousands and thousands of financial advisors. I presented to well over 1 million around the world at conferences and events and training sessions. And I wouldn't say throughout that whole period, but a pretty long time, I've felt that the industry, the profession has been missing a massive trick. Now, I know every single business is perfectly entitled to have its own market, its own target clients, its own niche. But to be really quite honest, this to me is the biggest trick that the financial advice world has been missing. Over the years, we've put a huge amount into expertise, professionalism, and this striving towards being a profession. Still a bit to go, and I think that's our fault largely, but that's for another day. I think we've put a lot of effort into building up expertise and professionalism, and the real sad thing to me is that it's only being used one to one with a client in the meeting room, in the client's home, over Zoom or Teams, but we rarely see that expertise coming out in other formats. And to me, that's just a massive trick. So, whilst, yeah, you can go for any particular market that you really want to focus on, there's so much more out there that we really could benefit from. And that's where I say that this is a big missing trick. Um, I've been working with financial advisors for over 48 years. I've seen a lot of different business propositions amongst financial advisors, blah, blah. Because I've been working with financial advisors for so long, and I see different business models, although they are all broadly the same. I know that's a bit broad brush, but although most financial advisor business models are broadly the same, there's this one big massive trick that the industry and the wider profession has been missing. And I've been looking at this quite closely for the last 10 years, and that is the ability to take the expertise that financial advisors have got, earned over quite a few years, earned over all the exams that we've had to do. And, I've even written two books on it. This one, New Income Streams for Financial Advisors, and the third space, a completely new business model that financial advisors could be using. It's something that I'm really, really passionate about, that we could take that expertise that we've got and we could put it out there in other formats that people will buy. And I have evidence that people will buy information products and services that financial advisors can put out there. So what I want to look at today is basically a little bit about some context, how advisor marketing is changing, really having a much better understanding of who your absolute dream ideal client is, and how to turn that expertise into value, and to do it in a way that won't compromise your current business model or your current proposition. I think we've got to a point where we're starting to see real social fatigue and potentially the end of social media, or the nearing the end of social media, or getting to a point where it becomes less important and less valuable to financial advisors. Engagement with social posts that financial advisors put out there, engagement is falling quite rapidly. Advisors are posting regularly, but they're getting far fewer views on their content. The whole social space, even on LinkedIn, the professional social network, even on LinkedIn, it's getting noisy, it's getting competitive, it's getting hard to stand out unless you pay. I don't have a problem with paying to promote your expertise on LinkedIn as long as you're achieving your objectives. If you want to advertise on LinkedIn, absolutely fine. I do it myself from time to time. But for every pound that you put into advertising, you've really got to be bringing £5 back. And once you get to that point where what you get back from your advertising exceeds what you put in, then throw money at it, to be quite honest. I think there's a myth out there. A lot of marketing consultants will have financial advisors believe that you've really got to make the most of social media. In other words, post everything about yourself, your business, your interests outside work, post everything about you all the time, everywhere. And to be really quite honest, yeah, that used to be the way forward a few years ago, but social has changed. And it really doesn't help you at all to be posting everywhere all the time. It just creates more noise. The word content gets cheapened. Content is about putting out expertise, adding value to other people's lives. But these days, if all we're doing is literally every thought that comes to mind, we put it somewhere online, it just adds to the noise. And all it really does is cheapen the value of content. Later, I'm going to talk about, instead of using content, use the word educational assets. Bit of a mouthful, yeah, but it's stop when you begin to realize that what you post out there has real value and you put some effort into that content, then you'll start to see results. I genuinely believe that as a profession, we've not really made the best of ourselves when it comes to getting the message out there. You know, for many people, being in a profession, um, I really believe that as a profession, as an industry, we've not really done the best we can do when it comes to marketing and promoting the value that financial advisors have and what financial planning really, really means. I think, and I get into a lot of trouble from people saying when I say that we're part of an industry, and I get that, but fundamentally we are part of an industry and we are ticking most of the boxes when it comes to being kind of regarded as a profession, which is absolutely fantastic. We have most of the characteristics of a profession, but I would argue that to be regarded as a profession, in addition to the characteristics we already have, we need strong public recognition and indeed prestige. Um, we need to have clearly defined what our profession does and what its identity is. And we need to have a universally understood language that we use. And this is, I think, where many financial planners have fallen down. In fact, where I would argue that the wider profession has actually fallen down is that we've not made a very good job of getting out to consumers what we actually do, what the actual value of financial planning really is. I mean, we don't help ourselves by giving ourselves titles that don't really make sense to people. I've counted up, I can't remember how many it is, but so many different ways we describe our job. We have IFA, we have financial advisor, we have independent financial advisor, we have life planner, we have lifestyle financial planners, we have wealth managers, we have independent, it just goes on and on. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have had, which is holding back wholesale recognition of financial planners and financial advisors as a profession, is how we describe what we do and how we help people. I think actually that financial planning is very possibly one of those services that people need to kind of experience it before they kind of get it. That's why seminars work so well, because people can come along, they can sit in a room, yeah, they can sit with their arms crossed, saying, no, don't talk to me, I'm just here to listen. They can do all that. But when they start to hear and see what a financial planner actually does, then they really begin to get it. And I think we need to be doing much, much more of that if we are to be really strongly regarded as a profession. I know a financial planner who does reasonably regular seminars, gets incredibly high conversion rates in the 70s and 80% plus. And one of the reasons they do that is because they do live case studies. They show people what they do live in front of the audience. They even use cash flow modeling as part of the presentation. And for many people, seeing cash flow modeling for the first time on a screen presented by a financial planner, this is jaw-dropping stuff. I think also as a profession, we've kind of confused posting on social media with positioning. We've replaced relationships with reach. I just turned 19,000 followers on LinkedIn. Well, yeah, nice. It gives me a little bit more reach, but I'd much rather have 19,000 email addresses, which I can actually own. I think also we've confused having a website with being found. We've confused having a website as actually marketing. To me, the internet has made many of us very, very lazy. Before the internet came along, financial planners were so much more proactive. The websites come along, we've got just a little bit lazy. We've started to confuse building of relationships and building of followers with having actual conversation. We've chased clicks, we've chased followers, we've chased numbers of followers, and that's not the same as building a relationship. Trust needs real human effort, and that needs thinking about. Building trust is actually a really strong strategy that financial advisors could be focusing on. What smart financial advisors are doing are really focusing strongly on having a clear idea of who their absolute ideal dream client is. When I speak at conferences throughout the profession, up and down the country, one of the things I always do as part of that presentation is to ask financial advisors in the room, hands up if you know who your absolute ideal dream client is. And typically, out of a couple hundred people, you might get 5 or 6 will put their hand up. If I then go on to ask, how many of you got that actually written down and it's part of your business strategy? I rarely get any at all. And to me, that's just from a business point of view, not knowing who your absolute ideal dream client is. That just seems a bit wishy-washy to me. And when it comes to marketing, if you've got a good idea of where your ideal clients hang out, where do they live, what conferences do they go to, what podcasts do they listen to, what magazines do they read, you go there. If you're focusing on dentists, you'll find dentists. If you're focusing on dentists, You'll find dentists read certain magazines, they listen to certain podcasts, they watch certain YouTube channels, they follow dental influencers. If your ideal client, target client is dentists who are building their practice, you will probably know where they like to hang out, physically and online. You'll know what podcasts they listen to. You know what magazines they read. You know what trade shows they go to. Go there, read those same magazines, listen to the same podcasts, get on their podcasts. This idea of just posting in the hope that dentists will find you just doesn't work. Figure out who your ideal client is. And if you know who your ideal client is and you know something about them, go where they go, online and digitally. Create content, and it's that word content again, it's getting cheaper and cheaper. Create educational assets that only they will want to read. In fact, they'll lap it up, to be honest. Once you've created educational assets, within those educational assets, funnel them to somewhere else. For example, one of the things I do is LinkedIn consultancy for financial planners. I know where financial planners hang out online and in the real world. But let's just take LinkedIn for a moment. When a financial planner looks at my profile or they want to connect with me, I get a conversation going. Conversations start to build trust. Conversations start to build relationships. So when I'm chatting with a financial planner on LinkedIn, one of the things I like to do is say to them, hey, great to find you here on LinkedIn. Just out of interest, what's your experience of LinkedIn? Does it work for you? Is it any good? Most financial planners go, okay, not too sure, maybe too many recruiters approaching me. So I say, well, why don't we just do a quick audit of your LinkedIn profile? Let's have a look at your LinkedIn. Let's see what you're doing well, what you're doing not so well, whether any great gaps in there. And I point them to my LinkedIn health check. It's a scorecard, it's a quiz. It asks them questions about how they use LinkedIn, and then it gives them a score and a report. When I point people to that, I get pretty well a 100% conversion rate. So that's what I mean by creating educational assets that are personalized and valuable to specific groups of people, ideally your ideal dream client. Going back to, say, 1978, before the internet, there were certain things that pretty well most financial advisors used to do. They used to go to networking events, they used to go to seminars, they used to go to trade shows, they'd have a physical newsletter, they do direct calling. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. They do fax shots, they'd have their own leaflets, they'd do hospitality events, they'd sponsor local stuff. Much, much more proactive than we are today. The internet, to be really quite honest, has made us lazy. When the internet came along and advisors started having websites, we were telling financial advisors, if you're not on Google, you don't exist. And the more I've thought about that over these, and I used to say that myself to advisors, if you're not on Google, you don't exist. And the more I thought about it over the years, I begin to realize that's absolute nonsense. Sure, you might not have shown up quite as high as you'd like in a Google search result. It doesn't mean you don't exist. It just means we're over reliant on Google. If we appeared in a Google search result, happy days. We were even happier if we appeared high in a Google search result. And I increasingly say to people today, a little joke, little marketing joke. Where's a good place to hide a body? Answer: page 2 of Google search results. So we have to think about this. It's not just all about Google. It's not just all about the internet. It's what else do we do proactively that helps us to find our absolute ideal dream clients. Today, in 2026, yeah, we use the internet. Yes, we use some of the old school marketing techniques and strategies, but we are a bit like sit back and hope, where we hope that we'll appear on Google. We hope that we might appear in an AI search result. We tend to rely on Google, on we tend to rely on directory listings. We hope that our website will work. We hope that after we've done a good job with clients that they will refer and introduce us to something. We hope that by having a profile on LinkedIn and putting a bit of content out there that people want to get in touch with. We hope that vouched for will be of value to us, and we hope that we might be able to. In financial advice marketing, we tend to have what I call a hope strategy. We hope that our website is going to attract people. We hope that it's going to appear high in search results. We hope that visitors to our website will want to talk to us. We hope that after doing a great job with a particular client, that they will refer friends and relatives to us. We hope that local professional connections will introduce people to us. We hope that LinkedIn will attract clients. We hope that Google and AI search results will work in our favor. And we hope that people will know what makes us different. Hope is not a strategy. Tweet and hope is not a plan. When I look back over the 48 years that I've been working with financial advisors, both with providers and independently, I look back and think, well, what's actually changed throughout the industry? And sure, it's it's been about regulation, most of all. Our advice was really all about product sales. Professionalism started to creep in. We had the first formal kind of regulation, and then compliance. Commission got banned for the most part. We start to talk about an advice gap emerging. We talk about transparency of cost and fees. We have consumer duty. We've had these sort of incremental changes over the years that, yes, are important, but we notice something else is that the model for delivery has barely changed at all. It's still one advisor serving one client at a time. The model still struggles to scale beyond affluent clients. And I know this goes back to it's not compulsory to focus your attention on the advice gap. You are perfectly entitled to just focus on high net worth clients or dentists or a particular, you're perfectly entitled to do that. What I want to say though is that from a pure business point of view, we are missing out on so many opportunities. Growth of the financial advice profession is really still constrained by people, not demand. Firms still rely on one core revenue from the most part. So what we find is that the rules have changed, but the business and the delivery model barely has. So we're still relying on one to many. So I believe there really is an exciting new marketing model, which can also be a business model as well. Going back to the one to many opportunity, the one to many marketing approach. Now, we think we're doing that by posting a bit of content on LinkedIn. One person potentially reaching many, many consumers out there. But as we've seen, it doesn't work particularly effective when you use tools like social media at all. What I'm also interested is the concept of the value ladder. The value ladder is not a new thing, but it is really the process by which consumers or customers get to know us in incremental steps. So they learn to get to know us, they get to trust us, they start to build a relationship with us, so that it becomes much, much more likely that they will then want to go on to our full fat services that we offer. That's the value ladder. And I think the steps on those value ladder, the things we do, the educational content and assets that we put out there, all provide the opportunity to create brand new and exciting income streams. We feel that educational content is the key to building relationships. Yes, it is, but I think educational content at a certain level is the key to new income streams that we can create and that we can sell to consumers in a variety of different ways. One really, really exciting opportunity that I'm seeing now is moving from social media and using social media to actually creating your own social media platform. Now, that sounds ridiculously expensive. It's the sort of thing you might do if you're out there in Silicon Valley, but it can be done and is being done by a number of financial advisors around the world, where you create community around your brand, community around your clients, community around your prospects, community around your professional introducers, and community around your expertise. People will pay for it, and I have proof. So, what do we mean by the value ladder? Essentially, it's the process we go through to help customers, to help consumers, to help clients understand us better, get to know us better. I've already said many times that I think that financial planning is one of those services that people need to experience before they get it. That's why seminars work so well for financial advisors. But many people feel that they need some in-depth attention to their personal finances. They want to have a better view of how they see their retirement panning out, but they haven't got the expertise to do it themselves. So we start looking around for financial planners. But many financial planners will find, and I would argue the majority of financial planners find, that when consumers needing that help visit your website, they don't make content. Now, largely because most financial advisors are not differentiating themselves. Most of them have websites that all look the same. They all say remarkably similar things. So, what could we do to gradually bring them into our world? We could offer them little snippets of our expertise, an ebook, an e-guide, a tip sheet, a video, a podcast. All these things that we put out as content have real value within the context of building relationships. So let me just give you a couple of examples. Dentists typically have a value ladder. My dad was a dentist. The real money in dentistry was not NHS tooth drilling. The real money in dentistry is in cosmetic dental work, that kind of stuff. And so, what a lot of dentists will do today at the bottom rung of their value ladder is they will offer free stuff or very low cost stuff. Many dentists today will offer teeth cleaning and even teeth whitening as the very early steps on the value ladder. Get them in, maybe start building the relationship, that get a testimonial off them, so that with the relationship builds to such an extent that it is the natural course of action to want to go on to the more expensive stuff. My own value ladder for financial advisors has a variety of different steps on it. Right at the top of the value ladder is a deep dive weekend marketing retreat. Nice hotel in the country, Michelin starred chef, bit of yoga, an expert speaker comes in, high value, high end, high quality. But no one's going to buy that until they've experienced what else I have to offer along the way. So, for financial advisors wanting to get into my world, one of the things I do is I have Life Talk, the world's longest running online community. There's nothing you need to know or can know or not learn about being a financial planner that isn't already in the Life Talk group. Phenomenal value for financial advisors. And it's free. I offer scorecards. I have my own AI. I have a thing called the Advisor Growth Community, which is a premium online community as well. I do coaching calls, LinkedIn consultancy. This isn't an advert. This is saying the sort of things that are on my value ladder that build relationships with financial advisors so that hopefully they will go on to either one-to-one consultancy or indeed my weekend retreat. So, what sort of things are on a financial advisor's value ladder? For the most part, it's full fat financial planning. That's it. We expect people to arrive on our website and go, yeah, I'll pay for financial planning with that, without seeing any other expertise or value that that particular financial advisor has to offer. Now, to me, full fat financial planning, it comes with fees. It can be a lot of money, and that's a big ask. It's a big leap for consumers to take, and a big trust level is required there. Now, financial planners had other things that they could offer to people on their value ladder, on their website, on LinkedIn, wherever else you hang out online. If you have other things, it makes it much, much easier for consumers to get to know you and get to know you faster. So you could have e-guides, tips books, you could have a scorecard. You could offer an audio book. You could even write your own book. Many financial advisors are now starting to write their own books. You could drive a challenge. You could have a podcast. You could have webinars. You could have a seminar. There's a whole variety of different things that a financial advisor can offer, give, or sell to help people get to understand you, your expertise, your knowledge, and where you're coming from as a financial advisor. To me, the value ladder is one of the most important marketing strategies that financial advisors can have. Take that expertise you have, turn it into other easy consumable formats, and either sell them or give them away to people, so that it makes it much easier for people to say, yeah, you're the financial planner for me. I think it's those things on the financial advisor's typical value ladder, like a scorecard, like a tips book, like an e-guide, like a book, like a podcast. Those are the things that are the first steps to creating new income streams for financial advisors. There's no earthly reason why you can't have a couple of courses that you offer on your website. Courses around investing, courses around personal finance. This isn't financial advice, this is education. There's no earthly reason why those courses can't be chargeable as well. When I get asked by financial advisors, so what could I be including on my value ladder? Well, obviously at the top of the list, you might have your full fat financial planning, full fat financial planning right at the top of your value ladder. In fact, some financial planners actually now have their own weekend retreats as well. I know one financial planner in the United States who every quarter does a deep dive weekend financial planning retreat. I know a financial planner in the United States who has a quarterly deep dive weekend retreat. What's the cost for this? It's a 2.5 day event, begins at lunchtime on a Friday, then over Saturday and Sunday. Nice hotel, a few nice activities, some guest speakers, some nice food, maybe some yoga, whatever. But it's high end, high quality. I know one financial planner charges $12,500 for that experience. Now, you might argue that if you've got enough people coming to your deep dive financial planning retreat and they're willing to pay $12,500 for it, you might want to start thinking about whether or not you want to work full time as a financial planner. And I know several who've taken that particular route. Further down your value ladder as a financial planner, what might you have? You might have a scorecard. Something that says something along the lines of how ready are you for retirement and the next phase of your life? Take our scorecard, take our quiz, take our assessment. And they answer a bunch of questions, 20 questions or so. Then they get a score, they get a report, and maybe you want to offer some sort of freebie. You might want to offer an e-guide, you might have your own podcast, you might have your own book. These educational pieces, educational assets, can form part of your value ladder that naturally take a complete stranger from not knowing anything about you, despite what they read on your website. They know nothing about you. But if they've got something that they can download or something that they can purchase, it helps them to get to know you, and it makes it so much more likely they'll go onto your full fat financial planning service. When I look at financial advisors' websites, I get asked to do reviews of advisor websites. And one of the things I see far too often is next to nothing. I see websites that really don't tell us anything that we can't really figure out for ourselves. Consumers today, if they want to invest in working with a financial planner, they need to know that you are the bee's knees, that you really are the expert. Now, clearly, video testimonials from happy clients on your website is going to really help with that. But what they also want to see is some other aspect of your expertise. Is there a guide they can download? Is there a scorecard they can download? Is there a podcast that you offer? Have you written a book? They want to get to know you. And many, many financial advisors' websites these days just don't really do that at all. And we get stock pictures of older folk walking along a beach, holding hands, flying kites with their grandchildren. We get pictures of lighthouses. We get pictures of yachts. If I had a quid for every compass I've seen on a financial advisor's website, I wouldn't be doing this right now. Give them more than just the platitudes that we so often see. I look at some financial advisors' websites and they tell us stuff that really shouldn't be there. Things that are just the ticket to the game. Things like, we have excellent reputation for client care. Really great. I should hope so too. We are highly qualified. Again, I should hope so too. We're committed to quality, value, and personal service. Whoop-de-doo. If I had a quid for every survey or article I've seen in the industry press and the wider press as well, the national press, that tells us how few people actually get financial advice, it would be happy days. The simple fact of the matter is we all know that there is an advice gap out there. I actually have a bit of a problem with the concept of advice gap. What we really got is a group of people in the millions that financial advisors are not targeting. And we could talk to the cows come home as to why financial advisors are not targeting them. We could talk to the cows come home as to why that particular group of people don't engage with financial advisors. We could talk about fees. We could talk about a whole bunch of different things. The fact of the matter is, whatever we call it and whatever the numbers are, there's a huge percentage of people who do want personal finance information and education, but they don't go to financial advisors. I believe that market is ripe for traditional financial advisors and financial planners to approach and to do it in a way that doesn't compromise their current financial planning proposition. We just need to open our eyes. We're only limited by our own imaginations as to how we actually do that. But the good news is there is already a model that you can actually use to get to that market and bring in substantial levels of income. You might say that most of these people won't pay for financial education, and I would argue strongly otherwise because I have proof that people do pay for financial education. So let me go through what I believe is the top five potential opportunities for financial advisors to create new income streams based around their advisors. First of all, AI powered expertise products. Through using tools like Claude and using vibe coding, where you just talk to the AI and tell it what you want it to do, you can create your own apps, you can create your own tools that people will use and which you could potentially charge for as well. Number two, creating your own networking groups. Now, on Life Talk, when a new member or perhaps a younger advisor or a member says, I'm just decided to go directly authorized, I'm starting my own business, how do I go about finding new clients? Almost always the main answers are a permutation on the theme of networking. Now, I know networking is not everybody's idea of fun. However, it is a low cost, low risk of getting your message out to people. Now, going to networking events is great. You will attract new clients, no question about that. But have you thought about creating your own networking organization as well? And by organization, I don't mean like BNI, which is, I think, the biggest networking organization. I mean just starting out by looking at local businesses in your local community and just sending an email to them and saying, look, next Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, we're all going to meet in the Dog and Duck. Come along, say hello, bring your business cards. We'll have a couple of drinks. You can introduce yourself. Somebody might make a presentation, and then we're going to do it again the following week or the following month. They will come. You don't need to have 100 people. You can start with 3 or 4, 5 people at the outset. The interesting thing about this is you position yourself in your local community as someone who offers real value, and you give people the benefit of your time. They're using their time particularly well, and the thing will grow and grow. Don't believe me? I know financial advisors who have grown their own networking organizations to considerable size with hundreds of people in it. And I even know one financial advisor who's even sold his own networking organization as well. Real potential for income there. Next one, number 3, chargeable seminars. I mentioned in another video about a financial planner in the United States who puts on a quarterly wealth weekend, wealth symposium, and he charges $12,500 for that, and he has a waiting list for it. I know another financial advisor in Essex who used to put on his own seminars just to attract local clients. It's a very common tactic that financial advisors do. One to many, bunch of people in a room, do your presentation, watch the inquiries come in. It works. But the same financial advisor decided after a while, maybe I should charge for this. Maybe it will increase the perception of value. He started charging £149 a head for exactly the same seminar. Guess what happened? More people wanted to come along. Then you have a really interesting thing going on. You charge people to come to your seminars. You will find that the quality of the people who come to your seminars increases quite dramatically, perception of value, and so on. And you find yourself in a position where clients are paying, or people are paying to be prospects. That's a really nice model. People paying to be a prospect of yours. Another opportunity to create income: educational programs, courses, educational assets. Stop thinking about content as a panacea for this, and start reorganizing your thinking and saying, I'm going to put a bit of content out, but make this content much, much higher value. That same content can go into creating a book. I know one financial advisor, Matthew Warren, who started a LinkedIn newsletter, high quality newsletter going out every month or so. And he then at the end brought all the content in his newsletter into a book. And he's very, very proud of his book as well. To me, the biggest opportunity for financial advisors is in creating community around your brand. Think Facebook group with all your clients, all your prospects, all your professional introducers, and a few else as well, maybe a few journalists, all in one group. One financial planner I know has 20,000 people like that in a Facebook group. Now, personally, I wouldn't use Facebook groups to create community around your brand. There are certain shortcomings, but for the financial planner who is using it, it works really well. There is now software that you can use specifically designed to create communities. And within those communities, you offer a variety of educational services for consumers. Now, a bit like a podcast, if you have a podcast where 1 million people are listening to it and you're a financial planner, you would be forgiven for thinking that if someone listens to your podcast, a member of the public, they will listen to your podcast and they might get in touch with you and say, great podcast, really good stuff in there. Could I just have 5 minutes of your time where we just look over my credit card charges? Do you think I'm being ripped off? Interestingly, that's not what happens. If you're a financial planner and you have a podcast, people do not step forward and ask that. What tends to happen is that your absolute ideal dream clients step forward because you've positioned who you like to work with and who gets the most value by working with you. So building community around your brand is a really, really powerful way of building your visibility. It takes you away from social media. Yes, you could use social media to promote your community, but just imagine that you have got a bunch of people, and it will start with 5 people, 10 people, and it will grow and it will grow and it will grow. That's the way I started Life Talk. Life Talk on Facebook today has, we're coming up 5,000 people. But I remember 20 years ago when we started, it was like me shouting into an empty aircraft hangar. 1 or 2 people there, not many more. But I made the content that goes into there as high quality as I possibly could. And slowly but surely, the thing built. and built and built. We've got 5,000 people in our Life Talk group now. And what's really interesting is I barely do any work in that community myself. What happens is we've got members engaging with one another, they're talking to themselves, they are networking, they're sharing best practice, they're exchanging ideas. Yes, they have a moan about providers now and again, but they are giving each other value. And from what I've seen of examples of real communities created by financial advisors and financial planners, that is exactly what happens. People like to congregate where other people like themselves already hang out. And what you're really doing is just keeping the relationship plates spinning by occasionally putting in high value stuff that they will consume. Some will pay for it, depends on the model that you set up. There are so many benefits around building a community as a financial advisor. Essentially, you are building something, you're building a business asset. It's not just content in your own online group, it is quality educational assets that people will want to consume. And this is a business that can really scale. So if you did want to focus on the advice gap, for want of a better word, this is a great way to do it because people who join your online community, join your online group, if they're enjoying it, they will tell your friends. And of all the examples that I've seen, that is exactly what will happen. So your thing just naturally grows by itself. And what you'll find is, again, depends on your charging model as to how you do this. What you'll find is that your absolute ideal dream clients will find your communities well, and they will be the ones who step forward out of your group and say to you, I've really enjoyed this fabulous asset that you've given us. How do we work together with a proper financial planning relationship? When you have your own online community, you can see the conversations that are taking place in there. And that is really, really valuable. It teaches you what is on your audience's minds. What I found when I created Life Talk, when financial advisors started talking to each other, it gave me great ideas for courses that I could put on, stuff that I could write, expert speakers I could bring in and help them out. Your audience in your community is telling you in real time what they care about, what are the financial issues that they are facing, what financial solutions are available to their particular problem, and they will ask other people. If you want to answer the questions that they ask within the group, that's entirely up to you. That's absolutely fine. But you're getting a bunch of people who are sharing their own experience of financial planning and how that can benefit the people who ask the questions. By having your own community, it means you can stay visible between client meetings. And for some financial planners, it's maybe one meeting a year and they might get a newsletter in between that. But if they're a member of your online community, you are essentially visible to them every month, if not every day. People who join your online community as a financial planner, they love the content. All the research shows that they love the content and they want to share it with other people. They want to share it with their colleagues, share it with their friends, share it with their family. Really, what we're talking about when you create your own online community is that not just your clients and prospects can join, but your entire business ecosystem. People you work with, people who refer you to them, professional connections are the main one, local journalists as well, other local businesses can join your online community. It's not just about just your clients, just your prospects. Anyone can join your community. They will only want to join your community because they value the theme of the community. Yeah, it could be personal finance. It could be about planning for retirement. It could be about transitioning into retirement. It could be about how you spend your time in retirement. Think in terms of your entire business ecosystem and encourage them to join as well. Not everyone's going to become a client by a long way, but you can still leverage this community and create income streams as well. So, in terms of the community platforms that you could actually use to build this group of people around your brand, around your credibility, around your expertise, you've got a variety of different options. Some are better than others. You pay your money, you take your choice. First one for most people, if they want to create a group around a particular topic, like how do I make better sourdough bread, you'll find groups everywhere on the internet, particularly on Facebook, as to how you can do that. So Facebook groups are ideal. Now, I started Live Talk on Facebook, and it still is on Facebook. With the benefit of hindsight, had alternative methods been available back in the day, I would not have used Facebook. It's quick, it's easy, it brings people together in a place where they already are as well, but it has its downsides as well. So Facebook is one opportunity that you could use. LinkedIn is another way. LinkedIn has its own groups. You may well be a member of a LinkedIn group. But again, my personal view is that many LinkedIn groups, or the functionality within LinkedIn groups, really isn't fit for what it needs to be doing. If you're created your own community around your clients, around your business ecosystem, you'll want something a bit more professional than a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group. To me, the gold standard when it comes to creating your own online community is a platform called Mighty Networks. There's another one called Skool, Skool. These are software services that have specifically been designed and created for people who want to run their own online communities. I would argue that Mighty Networks is the gold standard. It's quite expensive, but Mighty Networks has hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of community owners who are creating amazing opportunities for people to network and understand what you do and share their feelings about particular topics. But they've got so many tools within there that make it so much easier for the group owner to create a new income stream. Skool is a platform that I am, I wouldn't say playing around with, actually taking it quite seriously. I have the Advisor Growth Community, which is an alternative to Live Talk, but it's a subscription version where we look much more at business development, personal development, AI, and other opportunities within the profession as well. It has a small charge attached to it. But to me, that's much more about, yeah, creating an income stream, but it's much more about saying to people, this has value way beyond what we offer elsewhere. Other platforms that you could use. So we've already got Facebook groups, we've got LinkedIn groups, we've got Mighty Networks, we've got Skool. Circle is another one as well. Passion.io is another one as well. And you can always use WhatsApp if you want. I don't really like WhatsApp for anything other than perhaps very small groups or family groups. For larger groups, it really gets messy, gets noisy, doesn't really work particularly well. Or you could build your own. Go to an AI tool and ask it to build your own online community platform. So if people aren't going to professional financial advisors like you for financial planning, where do they go? Well, we all know perfectly well what's going on out there on the internet. There's a huge amount of educational content on platforms like YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's out there. But that's really interesting. You would be forgiven for thinking, well, if I don't want to go to a financial planner, I could go to any of these platforms and I could get free content. Interesting thing is, there's a huge number of people who don't want it to be free. Now, let me explain that to you. If you go to a platform like Udemy, Udemy, Udemy is a platform for online courses, and most of them are chargeable. They have a price tag comes with it. So you could create a course, you could go to Udemy, you could put it on there, put a price tag, and people will buy it. Why do they buy it? Well, it's been created by an expert. Now, it may well be that there's some content on YouTube that's been created by an expert, but the fact that this comes with a price tag suggests, okay, I'm not going the full hog with working with a financial planner, but I am prepared to pay for their expertise in other formats. That's where I think the real opportunity is for financial advisors to create new income streams. Take that expertise that only comes out when you meet a client and turn it into something else. Turn it into a book, turn it into a course, turn it into a seminar. All of them are chargeable. If you go onto Udemy, and you type in pensions, last time I looked, there were 126 different courses, all chargeable on pensions. Almost 4,000 related to investing and investments. Investment planning, 6,500, all chargeable. If you type in personal finance, into Udemy, there are well over 10,000 chargeable courses. And that to me just says so much about the opportunity that's there for financial advisors. Yes, you might have to put in a bit of work to create your course. Yes, you might have to put in a bit of work to create your course, but can be sold over and over again, either on platforms like Udemy or within your own online community platform. Just a few examples of courses, chargeable courses that I've seen on Udemy. Here's one: the complete personal finance course, Save, Protect, and Make More Money. It's had 11,000 almost five-star reviews. That's brought in at last count £165,000. And they're not all going to bring in huge amounts of money like that. It's about how you position it, how you promote it, how you market it as well. Here's another one I'm looking at right now: Personal Finance Masterclass. That one's brought in £52,000. Here's another one: Investing. It's brought in over £500,000, £500,000 just from one course on a platform. And it is not beyond it's not beyond the bounds of possibility for any financial advisor to take expertise that they've got in here, turn it into a short course, and bring in serious amounts of money. Another one: Personal Finance Masterclass, Easy Guide to Better Finances. It's on at £14.99. It's had 3,500 almost five-star reviews. They brought in, best guess, £52,000. Here's another one: Investing in Stocks, the complete course. It's on for sale at £11.99. They've had 45,000 people have purchased that course. My guess is brought in over £500,000. When you're creating your own online community, you want to think about, how do we monetize this? Now, it is not compulsory to monetize your online community. Your online community can be a free tool, a free asset, a free extra part of your proposition that is there for your clients. And what's interesting, let's assume that you don't charge for it. And let's say you've got 300 or 400 people in your community. That means you've got 300 or 400 people who've basically you put a moat around them. They're in your world. And providing the content in your group is consistent and it's great and it's fun and it's high quality, they will stay. They will then invite their friends to cross over the moat into your community. So a free community is still a great strategy for any financial advice firm. Build community around your brand in your free community. So what's the next model that you could potentially use? You can use the freemium model, which many financial advisors have used. So freemium basically means joining your community is free, but there is chargeable content within it. That works really, really well. And you also give people so another great model for your online community as a financial advisor is the freemium model, where it is free to join your community. And why would clients not want to join if you promoted this as an additional part of your online proposition? Hey guys, we really appreciate you being clients. We've created something special for you, an online private space where you can interact and engage and network with us and other people like you, other clients that we work with. Come along, join it, and we hope you find it useful. So that's one way of bringing people in. But you can also, because it's freemium, what you can also do is charge people for something that is within the group. It could be an extra course or an advanced course or something like that. So they join for free and they get a lot of value from it, but there's also opportunity to buy other stuff once they're in your community. Another way for your online community to monetize is simply to charge for it. Our Facebook group for financial advisors on Life Talk is free, but we have another community for financial advisors which is chargeable. It has a monthly subscription. There's a 7-day free trial. So that's the other way to do it. Literally, it is a subscription group. And once you get really interested in subscription groups, and once you learn how they're done properly and what sort of content needs to go in there, you begin to think, why have I not been doing this for years and years and years? Because some of these subscription groups bring in significant amounts of money. I know one financial planner group that is bringing in over £1 million a year just in subscriptions to join the group alone. Another model for your subscription group, for your online community as a financial advisor, is one where you have chargeable tiers. So yes, there's a subscription to join, but there's another tier where you get a bit more. There's another tier where you get even more, maybe more regular access to you, maybe access to additional webinars that you host from time to time, maybe access to guest speakers that you brought in to talk about an advanced topic or something like that. So the model is either free, freemium, where you have chargeable additional content, subscription, and that could be quarterly, monthly, annually, however you want to do it, or combinations of that, and also chargeable tiers as well. What I would urge financial advisors to do is to think of their online community as really just an extension of what you already do. Yes, your online community can be a business model in its own way. This is why I say you can do this. You can create new income streams without giving up what you already do or without compromising your current model. Run this alongside it. Yeah, start it as a bit of a side hustle if you want, but really look at your online community as an extension of the value that you already offer clients and prospects. What should you be looking for when you are choosing a community platform? I think there are a variety of characteristics. What should you be looking for when you're choosing a platform to run and host your online community? Ideally, you want a platform that has no algorithm. One of my problems with Facebook groups is there is an algorithm that tells the members what they should be looking at. And this is one of the reasons why having a Facebook group, yes, it's easy, it's convenient, but not everyone sees everything that you want them to see. So choose a platform that has no algorithm. School has no algorithm. Mighty Networks has no algorithm. Something else you need to have in your group is a community forum. Again, if you're familiar with Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups, you'll know what I mean by forum. It's the feed that appears there. But ideally, you need to be able to categorize topics within the feed so that they become searchable. Again, one of my problems with Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups is that quite often people can't find posts that they saw maybe a month ago because there's no way to categorize the particular topics. So if you're running a community for your financial planning business, you might want to categorize retirement planning, investment planning, legacy, protection. So give them topics. And you can't do that within Facebook. You can't do that within LinkedIn. You want to have a classroom area as well. So this is where you might put really good quality educational content. This is where you might put your courses. These courses might be free or they might be chargeable. You need to have a classroom area. You need to have a calendar so you can tell people what's coming up. It might be that your group might have a monthly theme or a weekly theme, and you could put in the calendar that you're doing a webinar on XYZ topic in a week's time. There needs to be a member list. And ideally, there needs to be a map as well. Don't underestimate the value of having a map within your online community, because this used to be called social networking. Before it became social media, it was called social networking. It was a way for people to interact and engage with one another. And if you've got a map showing where members of your community are, then you can arrange impromptu meetups, coffees, beers, and so on and so forth. The map doesn't need to be, like what 3 words down to the square meter. It just shows generally where other people are in your community as well. There needs to be private messaging within your online community so that you can message people, they can message you, people can message one another. Ideally, so that you can turn that on and off as you see fit, as you build your community. This thing won't be done in a day. You can make a good start in a day, but you'll find that building a community is something that never really ends. It is a fun thing to do as you build it out, as you see members engaging with one another, as you see them recommending other people to come into your world as well. If you can, it's great to have a little bit of gamification in there so that people who post regularly, maybe they get a badge or a star or something like that. Let me tell you about Roger Whitney of the Rock the Retirement Club. Let me tell you about Roger Whitney of Rock Retirement Club. It is an online community for people who are thinking about retirement, nearing retirement, transitioning into retirement, and who are already retired. Different people on each of those journeys have different questions. And that community is there to help those exact people. But it is created and founded by Roger Whitney, who is a financial planner. He's a financial planner who does traditional financial planning just like you do. But he's also got this online community where his entire business ecosystem can join. Now, it's really interesting. A good financial planner website should show real clients. Obviously, they've got to agree to it, ideally through video testimonials. But when people are thinking about joining the community, look at that, they can see other people who are just like them. What Roger also does is he has pictures of his team in that community as well. So you can see the sort of people that you're going to be chatting with as well. Now, here's an interesting, I'm just going to read this out because I want to ask you afterwards what you're looking at here. So on the homepage for Roger's community, the Rock Retirement community, one of the things it says is there's a lot at stake. You need the tools, education, and support to succeed as you transition into retirement. Within the community, you can create a compelling vision for your retirement. You can develop your own personal retirement financial plan. You can discover what you can afford to do in retirement. You can allocate your assets to fund your life today and for the future. You can make decisions about health insurance. You can identify risks and opportunities to address first. You can have conversations about life and money. You can navigate uncertainty with confidence. Now, when you think about that, those are the sort of things that most financial planners do, but usually only one-to-one with a client. So what Roger's essentially doing is taking the expertise that he has and that he uses one-to-one with clients, and he does it one-to-many in his online community. Yes, he still gets financial planning. Yes, he still gets financial planning inquiries, and he'll work with clients just on that particular basis. But for everybody else who's either a client already or thinking about retirement, these are people who are not necessarily thinking about, I want financial planning with this firm. These are people who are just thinking about money and their future. And joining a community of like-minded people is a great way to get into that topic without having to go onto YouTube and just talk about the topic, so they become familiar with it, they feel more confident about it, they can meet other people who are in a similar situation. Don't underestimate the value of people being able to meet other people like them who are in a similar situation. When you look at the Rock Retirement community, they offer a variety of different things, not just the ability to chat with other people like yourself. They've got the Rock Retirement University. It's got world-class education to help you create your retirement plan. You can access experts, so other members of Roger's team, live discussions with retirement experts, access to tools to help you find answers to your planning questions. I've seen some personal financial planning communities where they've got like a cash flow modeling light tool, which is so engaging for people. There's a private clubhouse. Don't know what goes on in the private clubhouse. Activities, live workshops. In the Rock Retirement Club, Roger also has real meetings, real seminars in person with real members. And that adds that extra element to this whole community proposition. And access to your team, live and local meetings with Roger and the rest of the gang. The Rock Retirement Club also shares quite a lot of data about its membership, which is absolutely fantastic. They don't give out names and addresses, but what they do share is facts about members of the community. There's a age split. There is a demographic split. It's, for example, it says the average age is 62, 83% are married, 7% are single, some are divorced, some are widowed as well. What percentage of individuals in the group, what demographic they come from. So, for example, between boomers, Gen X, and so on and so forth. Other stats that they share. Interesting, it also shares about different levels, other stats that the group shares as well. For example, 51% have got a pension. That pension may or may not have been arranged by Roger Whitney himself, but 50% have a pension. That could mean there's opportunity for Roger to pick up more pension clients as well. But the really interesting one that gets my attention is that of the membership of the Rock Retirement Club, only 27% have a financial advisor. Yet all of the members of that group have joined because Roger is a financial advisor. So with that number, so with only quarter of the membership having a financial advisor, that potentially offers huge opportunity for Roger and his firm. The Rock Retirement community does a lot of work, and it looks for data around how people feel about being a member of that community. And they asked a question: what's one thing the Rock Retirement Club membership has done to help you rock retirement? And the answer that most people gave was, the Rock Retirement Club has given me confidence. So just being in a community with other like-minded people, having access to experts, has just given them confidence about approaching retirement, transitioning into retirement, or actually being in retirement as well. It's about confidence. It's about a human thing. It's not about saying, I hoped that I would quadruple my net worth. That's not interesting at all. Joining a community makes people feel more confident about themselves. You can also have a bit of fun in your community as well. It's not all about hardcore personal finance and financial planning. Have a bit of fun. It's a community. Make it behave, make your community behave like real communities in real life do. So one of the things they do is, which Cheers character are you? Are you Frasier? Are you Woody? Are you Rebecca? Are you Diane? And they've done a little poll as to what character people feel they associate most with. Keep it light, keep it fun as well. Give people a reason to come back every day, if not every week. Within the community, what they also do is polls that will get most people involved. So one of the polls that the Rock Retirement Club asked was, what's your favorite form of exercise? And we had 40% of people said walking, 16% said hiking, strength training, yoga, running, skiing, swimming, and so on. That just makes it real life. Although this is an online community, we're also still talking about things that matter to people in real life. That's what makes it a community, because you'll see other people saying things that you can connect with. The Rock Retirement Club has also got a map. I've talked about the importance of having a map in your community. before, and the map shows where other members live at state level. So if you're a member of the Rock Retirement Club, you'll find that there are. So if you remember the Rock Retirement Club, you'll find that there are 32 other members in Wyoming. You'll find 150 members in Texas. You'll find 83 members in California, and so on and so forth. And that helps people to identify with other people. So, oh, look, there's another 100 people in my particular state. I wonder who they are. A great thing to have in your online community is monthly themes. And this monthly themes are published in the news feed as well. And if you're running one around personal finance or financial planning in January, and I'm just looking at the Rock Retirement Club's monthly themes. January, what's your vision for retirement? February, there's a discussion around lifestyle. March, navigating uncertainty. April, all about taxes. May, financial planning. June, estate planning. July, business planning, and so on and so forth. Publish your monthly themes, and that makes it much more appealing for people who want to kind of tune in to whatever you might be doing during that particular month. In addition to monthly themes, you might want to have a weekly calendar as well, so that you do similar things or the same sort of things on a certain day each week. So in the Rock Retirement Club, their weekly calendar, on Tuesdays, they have a financial live stream. On Wednesdays, they have a health and energy live stream. So this isn't about money, this is about maximizing how you spend your time in retirement. So, what do people actually say about being a member of an online community for that's based around financial planning? If we look what members of the Rock Retirement Club are saying, Dan says the club has helped me connect with people I would never have met. Kyle says Rock Retirement Club has given me the tools to dream, evaluate my situation, and find freedom, knowing I have the best plan possible. Karen says the Rock Retirement Club has helped me relax and enjoy retirement. So it's not all about money. Andy says joining the Rock Retirement Club was the best investment I made. Margaret says, I joined the Rock Retirement Club thinking I was just going to double check my financial plan for retirement. The club has great discussions on everything related to retirement. Nazanin says, the club has given me a sense of community as opposed to buying a service. That is unique and nice. So the Rock Retirement Club is a brilliant, brilliant example of creating community around your brand and community around a particular topic. In their case, rocking retirement and every aspect of it. Now, these subscription figures are freely available, so I'm not giving away any secrets. But last time I looked, they had 1,268 members, each paying $899 a year. So by calculations, that's over $1 million a year just in subscription income, let alone anything people might buy as an extra within the group, let alone any real financial planning that the business actually does itself. So you can see that's a pretty decent example of how just subscriptions alone, based around a topic of interest, a topic of value to people, can create for your business. I think every single financial advisor in the UK can do something similar. Take the clients you have, take the prospects you have, take the professional connections you have, take your entire business ecosystem and build it into an online community that creates value for your clients and significant value for you as well. It's worth looking at another community as well, just to give you a sense of their thinking and what they're trying to do. They're called Wealth Without Wall Street. It's community centered. It's mostly online. It's around the focusing on financial freedom outside the stock market. They've got 8,500 members. They're aiming for 10. They moved from a Facebook group to Mighty Networks, which I believe is the premium product if you want to create your online community. They started with paid membership, then they added a freemium model. So to join their community, Wealth Without Wall Street is free, but there are essentially upsells, I suppose is the word to use. There are other things that people can purchase if they want to within there. So started with paid, then moved to freemium. They've got courses, they've got Q&As, they've got expert guest sessions. They've got all the sort of things that you feel as a financial planner would be of value to the memberships as well. They've got their own app, and they've got a kind of ethos and an approach and a mission for where they want to take this. They're thinking constantly about how can we add value to our members so that they refer other people to us, maybe take out a subscription for something, but gives us value as well as a business. Another group I've come across, this one uses the School platform, which I absolutely love. It's called Washington Wealth Breakthrough. I just want to read a part of their about page, their landing page for this. It kind of describes what they give or they sell to add value to their target clients. It says this group is for Washington public employees, so a bit of a niche there, who want to retire earlier, are unsure how to invest their Plan 3 and DCP, or want clear guidance on retirement planning. Most members, bit of social proof there, retire 930 days earlier after learning to use their pension investments and tax strategies more effectively. As a member, you get monthly Q&A calls, a 46-part video course. Wow, that's hardcore. That's released weekly. Tools, checklists, guides, discounted one-to-one meetings, plan confidence add-on, not sure what that is, and founding member status. The total value is $6,800. To join that group costs you $500 a year. Locked in for life, the price doubles in due course for other people. So clearly state what the value of joining your group is, and really think clearly about what you're trying to do. I think that's brilliant when they say most members of this community retire 930 days earlier. That is a very clear, it's really good marketing. It's a really clear outcome as to why people should join this particular group. I want to give you an example from the UK of a financial planning firm, Boost. You may have heard of Boost, that is using this community approach really quite smartly. So they are a firm, high quality firm of financial planners. They do what probably all of you do as well. But one really interesting added value feature that they brought in was to create a community for their clients where all they do is talk about holidays, where they like to go, best restaurants, best hotels, walking, hiking routes that they recommend. And it's, who doesn't like to talk about holidays? And I'll lay any money that if you're a financial planner watching this right now, your clients love their holidays. So if you were to have your own community that's free to join, so if you were to have your own community that's free to join where they just talk about holidays, that I'll lay any money will be of real value to your clients. Now, it's worth talking about Pete Matthew of the Meaningful Money community. Many of you will be familiar with his podcast, which he's been running for a very long time now, where he puts out educational content around personal finance, financial planning. It is a favorite with a huge number of people, including other financial advisors as well. Alongside that, he has his own online community as well. It's on Facebook, but what he also offers are 3 courses within his overall community. 3 courses. He's got financial planning, financial foundations, he's got building wealth, and he's got retirement planning as well. This isn't any secret because Pete's told many, many people that, but in case you've not heard about it, Pete says, and in my own community said, he's happy to share his experiences. My academy brings in 15 to 20,000 pounds per month now. Properly useful money. Now, I would urge financial planners to really think about this model because to me, it's very much the future. It's something that can run alongside your current model. And I know increasing numbers of advisors are thinking, actually, the current model, it's hard work. Yeah, you enjoy financial planning. Yes, you enjoy working with clients. But from what I've seen in Life Talk, there's so much regulation, it makes it less enjoyable than it could. But working with consumers, working with your clients, and working with prospects and your entire business ecosystem in this community model is a lot more fun and has the potential to bring in significant amounts of income for you. It's worth just talking about some overall benefits of having your own community as a financial planner. Yes, it's a brilliant place to bring your entire business ecosystem into one place where clients, where prospects, where professional introducers, professional connections, local journalists, whoever you want to bring into your community. It's your community, you decide. But there are some very distinct benefits from this, not least of which is the income. But first of all, you're reaching new markets. If you want to call it the advice gap, that's absolutely fine. People who would not normally come to you for full financial planning can join your community and can benefit from your expertise, which you can give away or charge for. So you're essentially getting into new markets and different ones from the ones that you're working with right now. You can add additional value to your current markets, an additional place where you can communicate, you can engage, and you can interact with your existing clients. And it will remind your existing clients of the value that you offer. And they will refer their friends, their colleagues, and other people they know into joining your group. So adding value. It will bring in new revenue streams. And if you've got a subscription-based community model, that gives you very, very predictable cash flow, which is so important. It's a great place to nurture future clients. You'll have people who will join your community who are not right for your full fat service now, but they may in due course. And by engaging with those people now, you're building the relationship, you're building trust, you're making it just like we talked about the value ladder. It makes the likelihood of them wanting to work with you one to one so much more likely. Gives you visibility, it gives you authority. Just having your own community says to people that you have expertise, you have credibility, you have authority, a bit like writing your own book. It enables you to having your own community. It will help you to clearly differentiate from other financial advisors. You can build and scale this model at very, very low cost. I mean, this is a model that costs very, very little to run. Yeah, you need the underlying software, which, on the school platform, you can do this for about £9 a month. Yeah, it's that cheap. One of the best things about having your own online community is that you can see what people are doing in your group. You can see what they're talking about. You can see the questions that they're asking. That's phenomenal data that you can use in a variety of different ways. Let's say you suddenly find that there's something happens in the news, maybe inheritance tax. Maybe the tax rates change, and people start asking questions about inheritance tax in your forum, in your community, in your group. You could then create another course specifically aimed to address those particular questions as well. So within your online community, you will see people asking questions about various aspects of personal finance, and you can respond to that by creating high quality educational assets that they will either consume for free or you can charge them for it as well. It's worth talking a little bit and just giving you a few examples of communities that are already live, they're already kicking, they're already doing great stuff, they're already providing great value to their target markets as well, particularly in the money space. Now, the money space, particularly in the US, covers more than just financial planning. It's about building businesses. It's about various aspects of business, of various aspects of creating income. I've got a few examples here. Forgive me if I don't read them out, but one community I found 1,700 members, each paying $119 a month. Here's another one, 6,000 members, each paying $49 a month. Another one here, just 300 members, $27 a month. Here's another one about how to get business grants. 3,500 members, each paying $37 a month. Here's another one with 29,000 members, but it's free. But within there will be extra courses and extra things that people can buy that are relevant to them. Here's another one, 2,500 members, $184 a month. Another one, 2,000 members, each paying $8 a month. One, 5,500 members, $10 a month. And just one final one, just for now. Actually, I've got another one. One final one, just for now. I found a group which teaches women about trading stocks and shares. It has 3,800 members. They charge $35 a month. That's decent money, well worth having either as a business of its own or alongside something that you already do. I also found a group on Mighty Networks, which is an education network focusing on cryptocurrency. And they have brought in, or they are bringing in 2 million annual recurring revenue simply by educating people about that particular topic. Another platform called Wealth Builders in the United States. Wealth Builders helps members collectively invest $8 million and open 3,000 investment accounts. They made $100,000 in the first 2 weeks of starting their community. That's probably decent money. So just a couple of things to think about if you're considering starting your own online community. Yeah, you can literally start with creating an added value online space for your existing clients. And I know advisors like to get their existing clients together. I've been to many financial advisors' annual client meeting. I've been to many financial advisors' annual client get together where they put on a bit of a seminar. Quite often, this is done at Christmas. So, existing clients do like to meet one another, but you could do this online as well. So, if you're thinking about starting your own online community, yeah, you can start with your own existing clients. Add in prospects. You've probably got a prospect list, add them in as well. Professional connections, bring them in as well. But if you're thinking about doing something from scratch, that needs a bit more thought, first of all, think about what sort of group of people have got something in common. And approaching retirement fits nicely. Transitioning into retirement right now, that fits nicely. Recently retired, that fits nicely. So those sort of people got something in common. If you only work with dentists and you do financial planning for dentists, create a dental community just for them and base it around things that are of interest to them. When's a good time to launch an online community? Arguably January. Uh, and we know why. I don't need to go into it right now, but really in January, most people have got kind of fresh mindset, the New Year's resolutions that they've been thinking about. Maybe they're setting goals for the year, goals for their financial future. And people's minds are a lot more focused immediately after the holidays. So a natural milestone is let's make this your best year yet. Let's nail down planning for retirement on your let's make this the best year yet when it comes to thinking about how am I going to approach retirement? What's my mindset like when it comes to approaching my retirement? The best time to launch a brand new community, you can do this anytime, but January is clearly the best time to start your own community. Why? Well, we obviously know this. We have a fresh mindset. People are thinking about New Year's resolutions. They're setting goals. Their minds are focused after holidays. And maybe they're thinking bigger things. That this year, I'm going to nail my approach to retirement planning. When you launch a new community in January and you launch it and you aim it and you make the features and the benefits of it, aim it at people like that, you will find that your community takes off really, really quickly. I think the financial advice profession is starting to realize that it's possible to serve more people without compromising your current business proposition. And I'm seeing more and more examples of people who are thinking about this, thinking that the industry, the profession needs a bit of a remix. Because the business model that financial planners and financial advisors have been following really hasn't changed in decades. It is still mostly one to one. And that expertise, that credibility, that experience that you've got up here can be taken out of here and can be turned into other products and services that people will buy. And we have clear proof that people will buy your expertise if it is served up to them in formats that are more appropriate to them. A brilliant way to do this. Yes, you could write your own book and sell it on Amazon. That's one way. Yes, you can put on chargeable seminars. That's another way. But when you think about the expertise that you've got and you repackage it and then you put it within an online community that pretty well anyone can join, that your entire business ecosystem is a part of. So introducers, clients, prospects, they can all join and they can read fantastic educational content, then we really, really are starting to rock. And I'm predicting that we're going to see more and more of this, more people creating their own online communities. If you want help, join our new income streams for financial advisors community on the school platform, and there'll be a link somewhere below. I really do think it's time for our profession to acknowledge that the world is changing. How people access personal finance, education, and information is changing. Many financial advisors think, I'm not sure that's a market we can get into. And many are beginning to think, perhaps with AI, that financial advisors might be out of business at some point in the future. My argument is the fact that things are changing is a phenomenal opportunity for financial advisors to create new income streams based around their current expertise. So, financial planning, financial advice, financial education is evolving, and you can be part of it as well. And because of that, there's an opportunity to serve more people in more creative ways. We're only limited by our own imaginations as to how we do that. And this means there's more opportunity for new income streams for financial planners.